Did you work this weekend? Well, at least it was with your friend, Brian. That's just okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What is this for?
Hi, how are you? Can you start by telling me what your name is?
Yes.
What is it?
My name?
Yes.
Nisegure.
What's your name?
Nisegure.
Is she AKA Ray Blair?
Sorry?
Okay, hold on just one moment.
It's Gray Carrera, Your Honor. I believe it was like the third one we had in line.
Thank you. All right. Your name is Nisbeth Garay Carrera?
Yes.
All right, you're here for a charge of aggravated assault and battery domestic violence. These are crimes. You're also out on bond for a charge of battery in Osceola County. Defense PD's office, I know that she has existing mental health issues. At this time, I am going to appoint a public defender. Ma'am, I'm going to have a lawyer help you with your case. What's the highest grade that you finished in school?
12th grade.
12th grade? How old are you now?
27.
27? Okay. And is her mom, Adrian, here? No response.
No response.
Okay, so State and PD's office, I'm going to revoke her release. I'm going to revoke her release for battery in case 2020 MM 3131. That's an Osceola County case. She is entitled to a bond. I will go ahead and set her at $1,500 bond on count 1, $100 on count 2. In the alternative, mental health pretrial release if she qualifies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, are you going to set conditions such as no contact?
I'm sorry,
with
you're right.
residences?
Miss Correa,
Yes.
okay, you cannot have any weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to live separately from your mom, Adrian. You're not to have any contact with Adrian, so you need to live elsewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you so
If you have weapons, they need to be surrendered within 24 hours of your release. Deputies, let me stand by and go through some of the no-shows. The Ray Jean, he was a refusal? Yes, ma'am. All right, on all of his cases, on his out on bond cases, I'm going to revoke his release. That's 2020 CF 13024 and 12615 AO. I'll set him at no bond on both of those. On the new cases, he is entitled to monetary bond. I do find that there is probable cause. I'm going to appoint a public defender. And I will go ahead and stay all the bonds.
May we waive his appearance as well, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you. All right, on his case, he is entitled to a bond. On the new cases, I'm going to appoint a public defender in 2021 CF 12028AO. Do you want to waive his appearance at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
I do find that there's probable cause. I'm going to give him a monetary bond of $2,500. No contact with victim Kevin Solem. No return to the location, and not to possess any weapons. And on all of the other cases, because they are mental health, I'm going to go ahead and take no action on those. 2,500. Yes, no contact. Ma'am, I'm sorry for the wait. Can you tell me what your name is?
Myers?
Your first name is Brooke?
Yes.
Miss, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender. You're here for 3 crimes: tampering with witness to hinder law enforcement communications, criminal mischief, as well as battery. I do find that there's probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond. Your total bond is $1,350. You're to have no contact with the victim of the battery. And there is a hold out of Flagler County for you. So your attorney will explain what that means.
Your Honor, state would also ask for a no return and no weapons or firearms. I believe the victim was an acquaintance in which the victim was staying at his
No
residence.
weapons, no return. Thank you. All right, public Defender's Office, I'm appointing a public defender based on his mental health issues, 2021 MM 6258880. I find probable cause, abide by all trespass orders, and I will set bond at $100. Are you waiving his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next person is Brooke Sutton. No medical? Brooke Sutton, case number 2021 MM 62940. I'll appoint a public defender, Defender's Office. How do you want to proceed?
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, do you want me to set a bond state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, in this case, based on the facts and the criminal history, I'm going to set bond at $2,000. No ROR, no PTR. Defendant is to have no contact with victim, no return to the scene of the crime, maintain separate residence, and surrender all weapons within 24 hours. Case number 21 CF 11812, 2 counts, aggravated battery on a pregnant person and obstructing justice. Is the victim present in the Patrick Andrews case?
I
No.
don't believe so, Your Honor.
All right, no response. I'll appoint a public defender's office. This is medical. PD's office, how do you want to proceed?
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, do you want me to set bond?
Yes, Your Honor, he's otherwise entitled to it.
Okay, PD's office, you want to be heard?
Just a reasonable bond, Your Honor.
All right, on count 2, the aggravated battery on a pregnant person, I'll set bond at $3,000. On the obstructing or tampering, I'll set subsidiary bond at $150. No contact with the victim, maintain separate residence, not to possess any weapons. I'll give him a one-time return so long as he's accompanied by law enforcement. Sir, can you start by telling me your name?
Dan Davis.
Sir, you're here for a charge of battery, domestic violence. Is victim T. Rogers present? Sir, do you want a public defender to help you with your case? That's a lawyer. If you believe you can't afford an attorney, I can see if you qualify for a public defender.
That's fine.
All right, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. I find probable cause for the charge of battery by strangulation. State, do you want to be heard? Besides standard no contact conditions?
The state would just ask for her to comply with DCF, as there was a child present. I do believe DCF was called.
I'm going to set bond at, based on,
He does otherwise qualify for PTO, Your Honor, with no criminal history.
I'll set bond at $500 plus PTR. You're to have no contact with the victim, T. Rogers, no return to the scene of the crime, maintain separate residence. You're not to have any weapons. I'll give you a one-time return. All weapons need to be surrendered within 12 hours of your release and comply with the Department of Children and Families. Do you have any questions, Mr. Davis?
I can return back to my home residence.
You cannot live there. You can go back one time, call the police department. They'll escort you there. You collect your personal belongings, and after that, you can't return.
Question on it, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. You're going to need to speak up. Your mask is kind of,
Sorry about that. I actually pay rent there.
okay, well, does your girlfriend live there?
No. My name is actually on the lease. She was just living there with me. We was living together. From what I'm hearing.
Her name is also on that's what she's reporting, so no, you cannot live there. You can go get your belongings, but you can't return after that. Thank you. Your attorney will explain that to you. Are you Scott Finland?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're already out on bond in case number 2021 MM 6297, so I'll consider revoking that. You're also here for a new law violation for contempt of court, violating a no contact order. Sir, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender in both cases if you don't have one already. I'm going to revoke your release in case number 2021 MM 6297. At this time, you'll be held at no bond. You're to have no contact with the victim, abide by all previous court orders. In case 2021 CF 120930, I find that there's probable cause. You are entitled to a bond in that case. I'm setting bond at $1,500. Abide by all terms of the injunction. You're not to possess any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 12 hours of your release. Thank you, sir.
So on the bond that I just bonded out, I went to the house to get my things.
There's a way to do it. I'll give you If you need to go back and get anything, you need to call law enforcement. They must escort you there. You collect your belongings. After that, you can't return. You must be escorted by law enforcement.
So,
But I did revoke your release.
so I have a felony charge now?
You do, sir. Your case is over. If you have any questions, you now have an attorney who can assist you with the case, Mr. Finland. All prior injunctions. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me what your name is?
Melissa Page Graham.
Miss Graham, you're here for a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm. Is victim present? Okay. Miss Graham, I do find probable cause for this offense. I'm going to set bond at $2,000. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case? A public defender?
What, do I need one?
It's up to you.
Because I have 2,000 right now in my account. So.
Okay. But do you need a lawyer? Because that'll just bond you out. A lawyer can talk to you about any defenses you have.
Second, a lawyer buy me out right now.
I'm concerned about her ability to understand, so I'm going to appoint a public defender. I'm going to actually modify bond, set bond at $1,500.
The guy, he just punched
I
me.
know, I read that he hit you with a flashlight. Ma'am, here are the terms of your release. Your bond is set at $1,500, a slight reduction. You need to maintain a separate residence. You can't go back to where he's living. I'll give you a one-time return escorted by law enforcement officers. You're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered within 12 hours of your release. And you're not to possess any alcohol, possess, use, or drink any alcohol. Actually,
I don't have weapons.
does she qualify?
No weapons.
She initially didn't, Your Honor.
And what caused it up?
I believe
Hold on just a moment, Ms. Graham.
on the second page of the face sheet, I guess is previous history. Previous history with the same victim, and she also had a previous violation of PTR condition
Okay.
before.
I'm just going to do a $1,000 bond. Thank you.
It's gone down again.
Your Honors, there's also a no contact.
I did no contact? And no contact with the victim.
Yeah, show me now.
Okay, you talk to a bondsman or?
The next person is Tyrone Riley.
How do I?
Good morning. Are you Tyrone Riley?
Ma'am.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Riley, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
I have a private attorney, but I believe that my private attorney might not be present today.
Hold on a second. What's the name of your private attorney?
I had a private attorney in my old case, but like right now, we're still just trying to get back
Well,
in.
what's his name or her name?
Her name is Suchata. She was on my old case.
What's her name?
I really don't, like, I know the other guy's name is Steve, and then the lady's name is like Suchata. She's, it's a hard name to explain.
Your Honor, there's been no NOA on this case.
There's been what?
There's been no NOA on this case filed yet.
Okay, thank you. Is he on probation or community control? Because it runs until 2024.
He is,
He is?
yes.
Let me check him. Corrections, do you have the case, a case number for his? I think I found it.
One case, Your Honor, is
2019 CF 12239, is that one?
yes. And I believe the next one is 2019 CF 4484 AO.
All right. Can you repeat the next one?
2019 CF 4484 AO.
In both of these felony charges where you're out on release, or where you're on community control, I'm going to revoke your release. And in the new case, 2021 CF 12094AO, you're here for 1 count of aggravated assault to commit a felony. You're here for 50 counts of possession of a weapon or firearm by a convicted felon. That can include ammunition. I do find that there's probable cause. Sir, do you want an attorney to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am. I'm probably gonna have my attorney appointed like later on
I do
today.
want to let you know that I see who your attorney was. Mr. Halim has passed away. So I'm sorry to startle you like that, but based on that, do you want a public defender?
No, ma'am. I'm still gonna find myself a public
You want a public defender since you're at no bond on everything else?
No, ma'am. I'm still gonna
Okay.
find myself a lawyer.
All right. So on count 1, I'll set your bond at $4,500. On counts 2 through 25, I'm going to set your bond at $100 per count. And on counts 26 through 50, I'll set your bond at ROR. You're not to possess any weapons. You're to have no contact with the victim. No return to the scene of the crime. You're not to go where the victim lives. And again, if you do have any weapons, you need to let law enforcement know where they are. They need to be surrendered within 6 hours of your release. Good luck to you, sir.
Ma'am, I had a question. Did you say I was on community control? Because I was never on community control.
What kind of release is he on?
I was on
State
probation.
You're on I'm sorry, I'll correct myself. You're on state probation. But when you're on probation, you're not supposed to have any new offenses,
I understand.
nor are you to have any weapons based on the fact that you're a felon. So I'll correct myself as to that. Thank you. What? Yeah, I'll treat him as on views. Yes, that was the word, on view. Thank you. Can you start by telling me your name?
Alan Sands.
Your last name is Sands?
SANDS. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to appoint a public defender to assist you with this case. Mr. Sands, you're here for a charge of battery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, false imprisonment with a weapon, tampering witness to hinder communications, as well as kidnapping. You are entitled to a monetary bond. Some of the considerations are the facts of the case, as well as your past criminal history. On the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, I'm going to set bond at $3,500. On the battery, it's going to be $100. The false imprisonment with a weapon, $150. And the tampering with witness, set that at $150. State on the kidnapping, what level offense is that?
Your Honor, it's an F1 punishable by life. Given that it is a life offense, state is asking that you hold him no bond pending an Arthur hearing.
So I'll hold you at no bond on the kidnapping upon a finding of probable cause. Sir, you're to have no contact with the victims in this case or any witnesses. You're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to law enforcement. And do they live together?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. State would just ask for a no return.
No return to the scene of the, no, you must maintain a separate residence from the victim. Do you have any questions for me or your attorney?
I do have, I want to tell my attorney something because I have proof of the things of that kidnapping situation. I do have proof that I,
State, are you sure it was
A moment.
are you sure that he was arrested for that level of kidnapping, punishable by life?
The way the 78701 1A has it as a life.
Hold on a second. Defense, do you want to be heard on this?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Your Honor, all subsections, 1A, 2, 3A, and 3B, all subsections within 78701 are all life offenses. They're all just different regarding
Yeah,
ages.
hold on a second. Hey, do you know how old that victim is?
No, Your Honor.
Because 787 sub 01, that's usually dealing with kids. So I think we have a PC issue on that. Do you want 24 hours on it?
Your Honor, I believe, I mean, this is the statute for kidnapping. I think 1A is the kidnapping, 3A is the age part, and B is some aggravating circumstances. This is the only kidnapping statute. 1A refers to anybody. B refers to 13.
Do you want him held at no bond based on?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, there was a warrant. PC has been found.
Yeah. Okay, defense hasn't said anything.
There's no argument from the defense, Your Honor, simply.
All right, I'll keep him at no bond. What? Within 6 hours. Are you Jamie Small?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a witness ready? And they can hear me okay, right? Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Is your name Farah Gesford?
yes,
I know your hands are full. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give today is the whole truth?
Yes.
Nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes.
All right, give me just a moment, and I'll turn around and speak with you in just a couple moments. Are you Mr. Small?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Small, you're here for crimes of battery, domestic violence by strangulation, false imprisonment, battery, and assault. I do find probable cause for all of these offenses. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Gaspard, how do you know Mr. Small?
We were in a relationship. We were living together. He's the father of my child.
Okay. Do you want him to return? You said you live together. Do you want him to return back to where you live?
No,
So you want him to be separate?
yes,
Were any drugs or alcohol a factor in this?
no,
Okay. Do you know if he has any weapons?
no,
Are you currently in fear of him?
yes,
Okay, so there are two attorneys in the courtroom, a prosecutor, she'll go first, and then Mr. Small's attorney. They can both ask you questions.
okay.
Go ahead, State.
Just briefly, has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes.
Approximately how long ago would you say the last time was?
Before I left, I went on vacation for a week to Jamaica. It happened before I left. It happened frequently. The last time he choked me wasn't the first time that he choked me.
Okay, so it's an ongoing issue? All right, thank you. And are you willing to call 911 if anything like this ever occurred in the future?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
No questions from the defense, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
I see that he otherwise qualifies for PTR. State would object to PTR given the victim's testimony and the charges that are alleged today.
I
If you
agree.
are inclined to put him on PTR, state would ask for bond with PTR.
Ms. Gaspard, how long has Mr. Smalls lived in Orlando?
A couple of years.
Okay. Mr. Smalls, do you have any other family here?
No, ma'am.
Do you know where you're going to live? You're not going to be allowed to go back to where she lives for her safety and your child's safety. That's going to be a court order.
What? She's not on the lease.
That's fine. You're still not allowed to go back there. She's allowed to stay there. You're not. I'll give you a one-time return. I'm going to explain this to you. You can go back there one time. You need to call the police department, tell them you have a court order, no contact, no return, and you need somebody to accompany you to go back to the home just one time. You are not permitted to go back there, whether you have a lease or not, unless you have a law enforcement officer. You're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release. You're to have no contact with Ms. Gaspard. You may not even contact her for purposes of the child. Again, no contact is no contact. I'm going to set monetary bond. Do you know where you would go?
Yes, ma'am.
Where would you live?
I have a family friend I can try to stay with, ma'am.
On count one, I'm setting bond at $1,000 plus pretrial release. On count two, $150 plus pretrial release. On the battery and assault, I'll set it pretrial release on both counts. Do you have any questions, Mr. Small?
Not right now.
All right, thank you. You do have a public defender. And Ms. Gaspard, I'm sorry, Deputy, can I have her? Do you have any questions for me?
No.
I want to go back to the public defender issue. Do you support Ms. Gaspard and your child?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have two dependents?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you're paid monthly?
Yes, ma'am.
And your take-home pay is how much?
About $3,000 a month.
Okay, that's the take-home. Does he qualify with two dependents? What? Okay, thank you. There you go, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
So Your Honor, let me clarify this. No contact with victim, one-time return, no weapons, surrender weapons within 6 hours, maintain a separate residence, and then a no return?
No, maintain a separate residence.
Maintain a separate residence.
Can't go back to where she is.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me what your name is?
Erica Blocker.
Ms. Blocker, you're here for a charge of battery, dating violence. I do find that there's probable cause. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll appoint a public defender to help you. You're to have no contact with the victim, last name Wake, no weapons.
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot go to where the victim lives, works, or is known to frequent. If you do have any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. You two don't live together, right?
No, we stay in the same. She stay next door to me.
You stay where?
Next door.
Different places?
Literally next door.
Next door, okay. You cannot go to the victim's house and not have any weapons. I'm going to set bond at $1,000 in this matter. Thank you, Ms. Blocker. Sir, can you tell me your name?
Adrian I. Flowers. I don't hear very well.
You're to have no contact with the victim named Anna DeLucci. You cannot go back to where she lives. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you own any weapons, they need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. Can you hear me okay? We'll start over.
Now I do.
Mr. Flowers, good morning. I'm Judge Bigney. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
Okay.
Is that a yes?
I will contract a lawyer.
Okay, do you need a lawyer from the public defender's office for today's purposes?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to set bond at $500. Can you afford bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Anna.
Okay.
You can't go to where she lives.
Okay.
You're not allowed to have any weapons.
I don't have.
If you do own any, they need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release from jail.
Okay.
Because I don't know enough about the crime, I'm also ordering that you not consume or possess any alcohol or any illegal drugs.
Okay.
Mr. Flowers, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, ma'am. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
In the report of the police.
Just a reminder, all of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you.
I know. In the report of the police, both of us have been victims. My question is as follows. My ex-wife and me, we both live in the same block, not in the same house, but in the same block, at less than 500 feet
Is that
from
your
each
ex-wife is
other.
Anna?
Excuse me?
What's your ex-wife's name?
Ana Maria De Luque.
Okay. You cannot, you go to your house and she stays at her house. You can't go to her house.
But can I go to my house?
Your Honor, I believe he's concerned because the no contact order says he's not allowed within 500 feet. However, his home is.
You can't, you can
approximately
go to your residence,
Okay.
but you cannot
I
go to where
can-
she lives.
Not at
Can't
all.
go, does she work?
No, we are both retired.
Okay, you can't go to where she lives. If she goes to any clubs or anything, you can't, or restaurants, you can't go there. If you see her in public, it's your responsibility to go away, but you are allowed to go to your house.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All
I
right.
have been out of the state for 2 years and I just arrived.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers.
Thank you, thank you.
Nope, he doesn't want one.
And,
We've had a couple where they live right by each other.
At this,
It tends to be an aggravating factor.
I'm not going. So she could
Loretta Lloyd?
something about it.
I'm right here.
Are you Miss Lloyd?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Lloyd, you're here for a charge of battery. This is a misdemeanor crime. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender to help you with your case. Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Michael Licht.
Is that spelled Licht?
Correct.
Please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give today is the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find probable cause, Miss Lloyd, for the charge of battery. You do have a public defender. Mr. Litch, how do you know Miss Lloyd?
She's my girlfriend.
I'm sorry, what?
She's my girlfriend.
Do you live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in fear of her?
Not at all.
Are there any weapons in the home?
No, ma'am.
And were drugs or alcohol involved?
No, ma'am.
Do you want her to return to the shared residence?
Of course.
There are two attorneys in the courtroom, a prosecutor and a public defender. They'll have an opportunity to ask you questions. State, you may proceed.
Good morning, sir. Has anything like this ever happened before?
No, ma'am.
And you testified that you don't believe drugs or alcohol were involved?
No.
And you said you do want to have contact with her?
I want her home, yes.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Ma'am, all that really happened was we just had, this could all been avoided, it's my fault. We had a disagreement and there was some name calling. Once the name calling came into play, we lost communication and the argument just escalated. And I actually called 911 as a scare tactic to get her to stop arguing. And then I called back and canceled, but they still had to show up. And once they showed up, things just spiraled out of control, so, yeah.
And you live in Tennessee together? Sorry, I don't
No,
remember.
ma'am, she's from Tennessee. I actually went and relocated her down here to start a new life and welcome to Florida.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting, State. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Defense counsel, anything else?
No questions, Your Honor.
Miss Lloyd, can you afford a monetary bond?
No.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So I'm going to put you on pretrial release. You're to have no hostile contact with Mr. Litch. That means you can't do anything to harm, threaten, scare, or intimidate him. If you have any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. Anything else, State?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll put her on straight PTR. You'll be released from jail today, but the charges are still ongoing until the state makes a decision on whether or not to file and charge her.
Yes, ma'am, I was gonna go to the state attorney's office when I leave here.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Terrence Payne. You Terrence Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Payne, good morning. You're here for a charge of battery domestic violence. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. I do find that there's probable cause. based on your criminal history and the facts of this case, I'm going to set bond at $200 plus pretrial release. It's a phone-in program. You're to have no contact with Ms. Lambert while this case is going on. You need to maintain a separate residence. You can call your local law enforcement officer, law enforcement department in Oregon, and let them know I imposed a no-contact order. They can escort you to the home. You can collect your belongings. And after that, you cannot return until this case is over. And again, if you have any weapons, you're no longer allowed to. They need to be surrendered to your local police department. Again, no contact with Ms. Lambert, not even for the purposes of child arrangements, and maintain a separate residence. All right, thank you. Can you afford that bond? Will you be able to afford a $200 bond? No? Can you step back, sir? Mr. Reed, step back. How much bond can you afford?
I was here on vacation, so I spent all my money,
Okay. Do you have any family or friends you can call?
potentially. I just have to get to my phone.
State he had a prior in Oregon. I believe it's Oregon. Are you opposed to straight PTR?
Your Honor, given that it is out of state, state would object.
Defense?
Your Honor, pretrial release does allow defendants to return to their state as long as they stay in contact via phone.
I'm going to do a $100 bond to secure his return as well as pretrial release. I'll give him both. Thank you. Sir, can you tell me what your name is?
Kurt Churchill Reed.
Mr. Reed, you're here for a charge of battery. You're also already out on bond for a charge of criminal mischief. Give me a moment to look at your file. By any chance, do you have a plea offer on his criminal mischief and I can reserve on restitution?
No, Your Honor. It is currently set for, due to what the victim wants per the notes from the other ASA,
Yeah, it's set for pretrials at the end of this month.
on the 23rd, yes, Your Honor. At this time, I don't have a offer due to the victim not being able to be present. And they did say in the notes that they would like to be present.
You want to be heard on his out on bond case?
State would just ask that you revoke at this time. The victim has been very adamant about not wanting contact.
Defense, do you want to be heard?
As a friend of the court, because I believe he's represented by a private attorney in the criminal mischief case, I would just have you revoke and set it a higher amount, monetary bond.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Any suggestions on the new case, state defense?
On the battery case, Your Honor?
Yes.
As to a bond?
All right. He's entitled to one.
Yes, he is.
Okay, Mr. Cart, I do find that there's probable cause for the charge of battery. What are the conditions when you're out on release for a prior crime like criminal mischief is that you're not to commit any new law violations. So in case 2021 MM 213AW, your criminal mischief, I'm revoking your release, forfeiting your bond if you have one.
No, he was never
been taken
arrested.
into custody.
Yeah, he was never arrested on the case. It was just a direct file, a summons.
If that's the case, Your Honor, he would be.
All right, I'll take no action in the criminal mischief. And on the battery case, I'm going to set your bond at $2,000 plus pretrial release. Sir, is there anybody else to take care of the victim, your 64-year-old father?
Maybe my sisters.
Excuse me?
Maybe my sisters.
Do they live at home?
No, they have their own.
I can't hear you.
Have their own house and family and stuff.
State, how do you want to proceed on this? Are you the caretaker for your father?
Pretty much.
Any suggestions, State?
Your Honor, state would ask for no contact at this time and for it to be modified at a later time when the victim can be present and can be heard regarding if they want contact.
He's like an elderly, okay, I agree with the no contact. On the battery charge, I'm setting your case at $2,000 plus pretrial release. You're to have no contact with the victim, no return, maintain separate residence. If you need to collect belongings, I'll give you a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by law enforcement, and you're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release. Thank you, Mr. Reed. Good morning. Can you start by telling me your name?
Good morning. My name is Sierra Robinson.
Ms. Robinson, you're here for a charge of battery, domestic violence. I do find that there's probable cause. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case? A public defender? Okay, you're nodding your head. Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender. State any objection to straight PTR?
The state would ask for PTR with bond, given her last conviction was approximately 2 years ago.
Your Honor,
There was a gun involved. Okay.
Your Honor, I would just have straight PTR, those nonviolent offenses.
Yeah, I'm gonna do straight pretrial release. You're to have no contact with Mr. Miller. You can't go to where he lives. Do you and Mr. Miller live together?
No, ma'am.
All right, you can't go to where he lives, works, or is known to frequent. You're also not allowed to have any weapons. If you own any weapons, they need to be surrendered to police department within 6 hours of your release. Do you have any other questions, ma'am?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you. Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Tanisha Taylor, and good morning.
And Shatoya is your sister?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ma'am, you're here for a charge of battery, domestic violence. I do find that there's probable cause. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
No.
You don't need a public defender?
Well, I asked for one, I did.
What?
I say yes, I asked for one.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender to help you with this case. You are entitled to a bond. I'm going to set bond at $500. You're to have no contact with Shatoya Taylor. You must maintain a separate residence. You can't go to where she lives. You're also not permitted to possess any weapons. If you own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release from jail. Do you and Shatoya live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, she can stay there, you cannot. I'll allow for a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer.
No problem.
I also want to let you know that Broward County, Florida, they have a hold, so you may, even though you bond out, you may not be released until you bond out or take action in your Broward County case.
Okay.
Good luck to you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you.
I'm back. Are you Rashonda Black?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Give me just a moment to check your case.
Okay.
Ms. Black, you're here for a misdemeanor offense of battery, dating violence, and I do find that there's probable cause in that case. Do
Yeah.
you need a public defender to help you? That's a lawyer?
Your Honor, she's only here for the violation of probation charges.
Oh, she was, okay, thank you. She's already been.
I aid on the battery, yes.
All right, ma'am. You're also here for probation, violations of probation out of Leon County. Leon County, Florida judges have issued a warrant based on this. So you'll be held at no bond until you'll be held at no bond until Leon County can pick you up. Thank you.
Your Honor, is that on both cases?
Yes. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Good morning. My name is Prescott K. Chumba.
Mr. Chumba, good morning. You're here for a warrant, or an arrest warrant, out of Hillsborough County, Florida, for false information on pawnbroker form. You're going to be held at no bond. It looks like you failed to appear for your court date. So I'll temporarily appoint a public defender, and they'll communicate with Hillsborough County. Thank you, Mr. Chamba. All right, take it off my docket then. What about Monique Everett? She's coming. Good morning. Are you Miss Everett?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Everett, you're here because there is a warrant for your arrest out of Jackson County for a violation of probation. Give me just a moment. So they're not going to transport because we're not Georgia and Alabama.
I'm sorry.
Do I give her a bond? Since
Oh, they stated they weren't going to.
it says extradition limited to tri-state. Oh, no, Florida, though. Okay. So you're going to be held at no bond status. And the county and state will pick you up on it. But again, you're being held at no bond. Thank you, Ms. Everett. I'll temporarily appoint a public defender to assist you. Good morning. Can you start by telling me your name?
Jack Galvez Herrera.
Sir, you're being held on a warrant out of Osceola County for case number 21MM1269. You're being held at no bond. You'll be transferred to Osceola County. It's right next door, so usually the transfer is within a week. Do you want a public defender? Is that a yes?
Yep.
I'll appoint a public defender to assist with that. Thank you. What's your name, sir?
Jody Resnick.
Mr. Resnick, you're here for a warrant out of Polk County, Florida, for burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, 2 counts of that. Domestic violence stalking, unlawful installation of a tracking device, 2 counts. So you do have bonds. On count 1 and 2, the burglary, your bond is $1,000 apiece. On the domestic violence stalking, you'll be held at no bond. And on the unlawful installation of a tracking device, your bond is $500 apiece. Do you need a public defender to help you with this?
No, I'm going to hire an attorney.
Okay. Are you sure? Because you might, if you're not getting those calls, then do you want me to temporarily appoint a public defender?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender. I'm also court ordering you to have no contact with the victim in this case. That includes telephone, electronic communications, and third-party contact. Thank you. Good morning. Can you start by telling me your name?
Carey Englade.
Mr. Englade, you're here for a violation of probation. You are placed on probation for the underlying offenses of aggravated assault, 2 counts, as well as criminal mischief. The allegations are that you failed to report to probation. As instructed, you're now being held at no bond. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? What's your name, sir?
No, Bourne.
Mr. Bourne, you're here for case number 2016 CF 4051 for a violation of probation. Do you want a public defender?
No.
No? Yes? Okay. Sir, you were placed on probation for carjacking, aggravated assault with a firearm, and fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement. It's alleged in 2 different counts that you violated 2 conditions by committing an offense or being arrested for uttering a worthless check. You're being held at no bond. Thank you. What's your name, sir?
Daniel Butterworth?
Sir, Mr. Butterworth, do you want a public defender to help you with all your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're on probation in cases 19 CF 2662, 18 CF 11373, and 18 CF 6603AO. Sir, while you were on probation, it's alleged that you committed a new act, a possession of methamphetamines, tampering with evidence, and resisting officer without violence. I'm going to hold you at no bond on the violations of probation. Your public defender can assist you. Thank you, Mr. Butterworth.
Thank you.
Oh, so close. Sir, what's your name?
It's David Foster.
Mr. Foster, do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
Not at this time.
Okay, you understand you're being held at no bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, you're here for violation of probation for possession of fentanyl, as well as felony driving under the influence. It's alleged that you tested positive for an unlawful drug, specifically cocaine, so you'll be held at no bond. Thank you, Mr. Foster.
Can I say something, Judge?
All of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you. I do need you to remember that.
Right, I understand. I'm legally disabled. I was in a terrible car accident, and I have about 2 MRIs and see an orthopedic spine specialist and an orthopedic doctor this month. And that's all sent to my probation officer as well as my attorney.
Okay. Who's your attorney?
It's Tad Yates.
Okay, you'll need to let Mr. Yates know that you've been arrested for your violation of probation.
They're all aware.
You can frame any arguments, but you'll remain set at no bond status. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can you tell me what your name is?
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Mariana Seachrist.
Ms. Seachrist, you're here for a violation of probation. You were placed on probation for aggravated stalking. It's alleged that you violated your probation. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor. If you can kindly appoint a public defender.
I'll go ahead and do that. Just a reminder, it sounds like you want to say something, but all of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you.
That's okay.
I'll appoint a public defender.
Thank you.
It's alleged that you use social media to, on September 21st of 2020, November 24th of 2020, and February 19th, to have contact with the victim. It's also alleged that you did the same thing as reported by the victim on August 6th. It's alleged that you failed to successfully complete or remain in mental health treatment. It's also alleged that you used the internet from an unapproved device. I'll go ahead and enter denials. You do have a bond in this case. Your bond is $10,000. You're to have no contact with the victim, and that means that's through any electronic, direct, written, third-party communication. I'll give you a moment to confer with Ms. Seacrest before she says anything, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Steve would also ask that it be a condition that she comply with 17 DR 8435, which was the underlying injunction in this case.
You need to abide by all other court orders. If there is an injunction, which we know there is, and hopefully you're aware of that, you need to abide by all terms of the injunction. I'll give you a moment to confer with Ms. Seacrest.
Your Honor, if I kindly can have your permission to say what I was planning to say. I talked to my counsel and he said.
I'll give you a brief moment. I'm not going to change my mind on the bond condition, but go ahead.
So the bond you said is $10,000. Thank you for that. I wanted to also tell you that I was not aware of the warrant. I would have turned myself in. I have not done what it was alleged. I had my counsel in last week, every week. This is a technical error. I'm innocent. I have no probation officer. I was supposed to confirm. I called the probation officer on the 25th, and when I called, they told me the probation officer quit. And I think that the probation officer should have had the courtesy to let me know that there was a warrant. And I just was told, come on September 7th, which was yesterday, and I mean, I was shocked, Your Honor. I live in Volusia County. I had no contact. I moved away in Volusia County to be away from the alleged
So I'm
victim.
going to interrupt you at this point, Ms. Seacrest. You have a lawyer. He and the attorneys at his office can file any motions in front of the judge who signed the warrant. Thank you for that information. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. God bless you.
Joshua Webb.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Are you Mr. Webb?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here in case number 19 CF 163260. Do you want a public defender for your violation of probation?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. Sir, you're on probation for the underlying offense of sexual battery. It's alleged that the urine sample that you provided tested positive for illegal drugs, and that you tested positive or used cocaine as prohibited. You're being held at no bond status. Thank you. And sir, when you do get a bond, you do have reporting requirements that you do need to comply with within 24 hours of your release. Thank you.
Just a moment to confer, Your Honor.
Oh, wow. All right, are we ready on Alex Williams? Are you Alex Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. You're here for two different types of cases, a violation of probation and new law offenses. Sir, do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender. In case 2020 CF 8656AO, you're on probation for sale, manufacture, or delivery of illegal drugs. And you're also here for a new law violation, 21 CF 12089AO, for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, as well as possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. Based on your history and the facts, I'm going to deviate from the standard bond schedule. On count 1, I'm setting your bond at $5,000. On counts 2 and 3, I'm going to stay those bonds. I'm also ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any weapons. I'm going to revoke your bond in the current case where you're out on bond. You'll remain at no bond. Thank you.
What,
I don't know if he is out on bond yet.
what out on
His
bond?
probation.
The probation?
I'm going to hold him at no bond.
Okay.
Sorry, stay. No. It's been a while. My language is. I'm ready on 33-day motions. State, are you as well, or do you need a moment?
Would you like me to announce?
What?
Would you like me to announce them?
Nope, I got it. Because that way I kind of type it. 2021 CF 7927, Robert J. Maples with an M.
A notice and on filing, so granted.
Thank you. So granted. The next state, on Edith Basin, is there a cost of investigation?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer conveyed was an adjudication, correct time served, no return to the Orlando International Airport without a valid ticket, and cost of investigation to OPD in the amount of $148.30.
I'll just wait for the defendant to be brought up.
For the record, I did have a chance to speak with Ms. Basin about that offer, and I believe she wishes to enter a plea.
Good morning, are you Miss Basin?
Yes.
Miss Basin, you're here for a crime of trespass. You have a lawyer, that's the person standing next to you. If you would like to resolve your case by saying guilty or no contest, it's a time-served offer. You can't return to the airport unless you have a ticket. You owe court costs and $148.30, and I'll give you over a year to pay that. Defense counsel, does she want to plea?
She wishes to plead no contest, Your Honor.
Ms. Basin, how do you plead to the crime of trespass in structure? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medicine? Or do you have any health conditions that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No.
Ma'am, do you understand that if you were on probation when you committed this crime, by pleading today, your probation would be violated?
No, I'm not on probation.
Okay, and you understand my question, ma'am?
Yes.
And if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to this charge. Do you understand that too?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'll accept your plea of no contest. You're being adjudicated guilty. We'll get some fingerprints from you. No return to the airport unless you have a ticket. You owe $148.30 to Orlando Police Department. Your PD's office and court costs to be paid by December 31st of 2022. Good luck to you, Ms. Basin. Your case is over. We'll release you on this case.
How many days did she have in, Your Honor?
She had 39.
Give this.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me what your name is?
Jalen Boston.
Mr. Bostic, you're here for an arraignment. You have a public defender. You're facing a charge of battery. State any offer.
Not this time, Your Honor.
There is no offer on your case. We need input from the victim. I'll go ahead and set your case for a pretrial conference. We'll enter a plea of not guilty. Correct, PD's office?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Pretrial date will be in Division 50. September 20th at 1:30 in courtroom 7C.
Can you start by telling me your name? Next person? Next person, sorry.
My name is Keith Costin.
Sir, you have a public defender. You're here for case number 2021 MM 339AA. You're facing a charge of trespass in an occupied structure. State any objection to a time served, no return at any cost?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer I conveyed was an adjudication, credit time served, and no return to Walmart located at 9047 Curry Fork Road.
Your Honor, we would just enter a plea of not guilty. I think there's some comp concerns on our side.
Okay, enter a plea of not guilty. PTC date?
Division 84, October 18th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4B.
Thank you, sir.
You are the only participant.
The next case is Gary Grant. He's medical. Will waive his appearance, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Enter plea of not guilty, set for pretrial conference in Division 62, please.
September 27th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 9B.
Thank you. Sir, can you tell me your name?
Eric Coontz. Eric Coontz, ma'am.
Eric Coots. Mr. Cooch, I'm going to arraign you on an older case. The case number is 2021 MM 1829AO. Mr. Koontz, do you want a public defender to help you with your case for assault? That's a lawyer.
I need, yes, sir.
There is no offer on this case. Sir, you're here for a crime of assault. It was alleged to have occurred. on or about January 8th of this year against Alexandria Weinstein. I'll enter a plea of not guilty, and today will be your arraignment. Do you want me to go ahead and waive his arraignment?
And what I'm
we
trying
already
to
had a-
say is, the lawyer I had by Ali, he told me that he was gonna get me a plea bargain and.
Okay, that's on another
Not today,
case that
plead
you
no
have.
contest- No contest and go home.
It also doesn't show that we're appointed in this case, Your Honor. If you'd
I just asked him if he wanted a public defender. This is a new case. It was a summons unserved case set for arraignment. So he's in jail on something else. So now they're executing the summons, serving him today.
You want us appointed? Okay. I believe he would like us appointed, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll appoint a public defender in this case.
And we'll enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Enter plea of not guilty.
Division 83, pre-trial date September 27 at 8:30 and courtroom 6C.
And we'll treat today as the arraignment, correct?
I'm sorry?
He's being arraigned today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so call the attorney.
Sir, good morning. Can you tell me what your name is?
DeAndre Medley.
Mr. Medley, you're here for a crime of false identification to a law enforcement officer. State any objection to a time served offer of 29 days.
No, Your Honor, that's what I conveyed.
If you would like to resolve your case today, the offer is an adjudication. You would be convicted and you would be sentenced to time served. You would be released on this case today.
Yes.
You want to accept that?
Yes.
Can I confer with him, Your Honor?
Yes.
You ready, defense?
He is going to be sitting on other cases if he does plead to this today.
Excuse me?
He is still going to be in on other cases if he does plead to this today.
I believe he wishes to enter a plea, Your Honor.
Yes, I do.
Sir, how do you plead to the crime of false identification to law enforcement officer? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Just say no contest.
No contest.
Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to these charges?
Yes.
And if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the services of your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
I do find that there's a factual basis. I'm familiar with your criminal history. At this time, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to credit time served of 29 days. You'll be released on this case alone. You owe your court costs and your public defender's lien. That's to be paid no later than June 15th of 2022. You have 30 days to appeal. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Next case is Tiara Lucas. She's medical. She has a public defender. Thank you. Do you want me to go ahead, enter a plea of not guilty, and set her for PTCs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pre-trial date would be in Division 84, October 18th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4B.
Thank you.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes. The next case is Preston Madewell. Mr. Madewell has a medical, so I'll go ahead. He has a public defender. Enter a plea of not guilty, waive his appearance, set him in Division 80 PTCs.
September 23rd at 9 o'clock in courtroom 9C.
The next case is Samuel Pierre Lewis, medical. He is 43 days in. Do you know what is there anything else holding him? Anybody know?
1 second.
We did have comp concerns.
Yes.
Yes, Your
He's
Honor.
been revoked on some drug charges and some driving charges and a
All right.
bad Leo.
All right, thank you. The next person is Eric Dileon Roberts. What? They're waiving, right?
We'll waive and enter a plea not guilty, yes.
Trial date would be
Thank you.
Division 61, October 18th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 6B.
Next case is 2021 MM6170, Eric Dileon Roberts. It's a public defender case, medical. Are you waiving and entering a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pretrial date, please.
Division 80, September 23rd at 9 o'clock in courtroom 9C.
All right, the next person I'm addressing it is Andrea Sharber. Corrections, is there anything else holding her, if you know?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Sharber, you're here for a crime of resisting officer without violence. If you would like to resolve your case today, it's a time-served offer.
Yes, ma'am.
You need a moment to speak with your public defender.
I already have, thank you.
I'm sorry, what did you say, ma'am?
I already have spoke with him, thank you.
All right, Ms. Sharber, how do you plead to the crime of resisting officer without violence? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And ma'am, do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this crime, by pleading today, your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand that you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea to this charge?
Yes, ma'am, I'm
And are
a
you-
U.S. citizen.
And are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
All right, at this time, I'll find your alert, intelligent, and understand the nature of the charges. I have a factual basis. You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served of 27 days, and you'll be released on this case today. Good luck to you, ma'am. And you have to pay your court cost by June 15th of 2022.
Thank you.
The next case is Jonathan Williams. He has a public defender, medical. This is a false identification to law enforcement. Shall I waive his appearance and enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Division 84, please.
October 18th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4B.
Thank you. That concludes our arraignment docket. Counsel,
Your Honor, can you,
I'll work your case in when I can. And who's your client?
oh, I'm so sorry, Ernest Alfred, I just wanted to make sure the court could hear me because it's kind of choppy on your end.
Okay, I don't know how to adjust the microphone in here. I'm just filling in, but I can hear you just.
Okay. Okay,
All right, thank you. This is my next step. What's your client's name? We'll try to work him in.
Ernest Alfred,
Okay, and you're covering for Mr. Cagle?
that's correct, and initial appearance on this case.
Okay, it looks like we're about 10 people, 10 to 12 people back. I'm just eyeing. Are you Miss Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Come on up, Miss Miller.
Thank you.
Miss Miller, do you need a public defender to help you with your new charges?
With my what?
With your new charges?
I don't know what they are. Could you tell them to me?
Sure, you're here for 2 counts of possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. That can include ammunition, possession of methamphetamines, and resisting officer without violence. Do you want a lawyer to help you? I'll appoint a public defender.
If I need one, I could just use Brian Wynn, the one that I already have.
Okay, so you want Mr. Wynn or somebody who works with him, so we'll appoint a public defender. Ma'am, I do find probable cause for those offenses. I'm going to stay all the bonds. Your total bond is $1,400. You're not to possess any weapons, nor are you to possess, use, or consume any illegal substances. In case 2021 CF 9771AO, you just bonded out on those cases like 4 days ago, so I'm going to revoke your bond, hold you at no bond.
Wait, Judge, can I have a bond, please, or can I be released on my own recognizance?
Denying that request. Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Madewell.
Good morning, Mr. Lamar. How are you?
Good morning, good morning. Nice to
Mr. Lamar, you're here for a new count of disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause. Based on our conversations and other court hearings, I'm going to give you a lawyer with the public defender's office. I'll take no action on the release cases, Sir, I'm going to put you on conditional release for this offense, ROR. You need to call your attorney, and you cannot be panhandling anymore. Do you understand?
No.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Lamar. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me what your name is? What is it? Rodney Finn, you're here in case number 19 CF 5189. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your felony charges? I'll go ahead and I'll appoint a public defender to assist you with these charges. You're here for 2 counts of lewd and lascivious battery. Defense counsel, state, do you want to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, we have already filed an information. We filed it back in April of 2019, so probable cause has already been found. Given the nature of the offense, the fact that he's a violent felony offender of special concern, and that he has out-of-county warrants holding him, he is entitled to a bond, given that it is an F2. But given his history and the facts alleged, I believe the victim in the case was 15 years old. State would just ask for a high bond, given the sexual nature of the offenses, the age of the victim, and his criminal history.
Defense counsel,
Your Honor, I don't believe he has any failures to appear on record. I would just have you set a reasonable bond.
anybody want to give me an idea of what they think reasonable is?
Your Honor, given that it's an older case, it's from 2019, he has pled to other things since this case. State would ask for at least 10 to 15 on each count, given that it is an F2 and sexual in nature.
All right, on count 1, I'm setting bond at, anything else, defense counsel?
I would just say 5,000 on each count.
I'll deny that request. I'll set bond at $15,000 on count 1. On count 2, I'll treat it as a subsidiary and set bond at $150. Sir, your total bond is $15,150. You're to have no contact with any person under the age of 18. Is there any legal reason you think you have to have contact with any children? Do you have any children of your own?
Yes.
Are they under 18?
Yes.
Okay, no unsupervised contact with your own children, no contact with anybody else under the age of 18, and you're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release from jail. I do want to remind you that there is a warrant out of Jackson County, so even if you bond out, there is that hold. Your attorney can explain that to you. Thank you. And additionally, you're to have no contact with the victim or any witnesses. You need to maintain a separate residence and no return to the scene of the crime. If you need a one-time return, I'll allow for that. Thank you. You're welcome. Sir, what's your name? I'm sorry, what? Do I have an interpreter online? We're going to have to pass him. I'll recall him shortly. Madam Interpreter? Stand by.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has already been sworn.
All right, Madam Interpreter, sound check me, please.
There is contact, Your Honor.
Are you, Mr. Juan Mills Sanchez?
Yes.
Do you want a lawyer to help you with your criminal cases?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender.
Your Honor. As to the charge of tampering with physical evidence, did you find PC for attempt as opposed to a charge of tampering?
Your Honor, that was gonna be the state's request as well. I don't believe there's PC for the tampering as it was recoverable, as the officer did see him toss it. However, I do believe there's PC for attempted tampering with physical evidence, which would be the normal statute as well as 77704.
Everybody's going to need to slow down so the interpreter can hear it and translate it. Please repeat
Yes.
your command.
Thank you.
PD's office, you can begin.
As to my PC challenge?
Remember, she needs to interpret it to him, and she couldn't hear you.
I apologize for the interpreter. Your Honor, I would like to make a PC challenge which is find probable cause for attempt tampering with physical evidence as opposed to a charge of tampering with physical evidence.
Stand by, State. State, do you stipulate to that?
Yes, Your Honor. And for Madam Clerk, the additional statute is 777.04.
All right, since State stipulates, here's what I'll do. On the attempted tampering, I'll stay the bond, I'll modify that bond to $150. If I'm on possession of drug paraphernalia, I'll stay that bond. I do find probable cause. Sir, you're also here for a charge of grand theft in case 21 CF 11575AO. It was alleged to have occurred on or about June 30th. I'm going to stay that bond in that case. Sir, you're also out on bond in case number 2020 CF 15211AO for possession of fentanyl and controlled substance. In that case, I'm revoking your bond. I am holding you at no bond on that. I believe your next court date is on the 17th of September. Thank you.
Your Honor, in regards to the grand theft case, state will request and no return and no contact with victims or witnesses.
I'll grant that request, no contact, no return. Mr. Mills Sanchez, it sounded like you wanted to say something. I want to remind you, your statements are being recorded and can be used against you. Thank you, sir. Corrections, do we have any other interpreter cases that you know of? All right, Madam Interpreter, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The next person is Jason Elbin. Stating an objection to a 7-day offer on this case, he is out-of-state convictions.
No, Your Honor, state wasn't going to convey an offer due to trying to look into that out-of-state history. I see that he has been arrested 3 times at least.
Any objection to the 7-day offer?
No, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me what your name is?
Jason Elbon?
Mr. Albon, good morning. You're here for a crime of petty theft. The case number is 2021 MM 6323. Sir, you have credit for 2 days' time served if you would like to resolve the case. The plea offer is an adjudication, 7 days in the county jail, and you would owe court cost and no return to the scene of the crime. Sir, do you want a lawyer from the public defender's office to help you?
No, so you're saying 7 days?
You have 5 more days to do. You would be convicted of this crime, and you would owe court cost.
Okay.
Do you want to accept that?
Yes.
Do you need to talk to a lawyer about it?
No.
Did you read a plea form when you were in back?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have him hand you a plea form. You're gonna step to the wall and read it, and then we'll take your case.
Okay.
Sir, come on forward. What's your name?
England Jackson.
Reginald Jackson, you're here in case number 2021 MM6326. I find probable cause for the charge of petty theft. Because of your priors and the
Sorry,
nature
ma'am,
of...
you had the wrong person.
Are you Reginald Jackson, you said?
England Jackson.
England Jackson? What's his name? Spell it?
England?
Because he has so many AKAs. I'm glad he corrected me.
That previous defendant was a felon.
Okay, I don't know who Reginald Jackson is. It's okay. Are you ready, Mr. Elbin?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Elbin, have you had enough time to read that paper, the plea form?
Yes.
And what's the highest grade that you finished in school?
I got my GD.
Any problems reading, writing, or understanding the English language?
No.
If you agree to the terms, go ahead and sign the paper. Lots going on here.
What was the no return location, Your Honor?
It's the Home Depot located at,
Let's do all Home Depots in Orange County.
And I spoke to him as a friend of the court, Your Honor.
Mr. Albin, have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medicine that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No.
How do you plead to the crime of petty theft? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Guilty.
Has anybody forced you to say guilty?
No.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, do you understand that your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea to this crime? Do you understand that? Theft is an enhanceable offense. In just a few moments, I will convict you of this crime. If you commit a future act of theft, you will be charged with a felony based on this conviction and your priors. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, and that would be regardless of the value of the item stolen. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, I'll accept your plea, sir. Again, you're pleading guilty.
Yes.
You're being adjudicated guilty. I'll sentence you to 7 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You need to pay your court costs by June 15th of 2022. So you have about 9 months to do so. Good luck to you. Wait for your paperwork, and you'll be processed out in a few days.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is this Reginald Jackson? Good morning, Mr. Jackson. How are you?
I'm okay, ma'am.
You're here in case number 2021 MM6326. Do you want a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender. I do find that there's probable cause. Based on the facts of this case and your history, I'm going to modify your bond to $1,000, no return. Sir, you're also out on bond on cases 21 CF 6086 and 21 CF 798AO. Based on the facts of those cases and this new offense, I'm going to revoke your bond on both of those cases. You'll be held at no bond. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. We need fingerprints for Elbin. Are you Jennifer Jones?
yeah.
Ms. Jones, you're here in case number 21MM6318 for charges of trespass, refusal to leave, resisting officer without violence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you want a lawyer from the public defender's office to help you with your case?
Please.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. Ma'am, I'm going to I want to go ahead and court order pretrial release on her.
She's out on bond.
I'm going to put her on pretrial release based on the facts of the case. I'm going to no action the battery in 2021 MM1772AO.
Is that straight?
Straight pretrial release.
Any conditions?
Yes. Ma'am, I know you were evicted from your home. You cannot go back there. You need to abide by all trespass orders, and you're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any drug paraphernalia. But I'm going to put you on straight pretrial release. Thank you. The next case is Samuel Melendez. Good morning. Are you Mr. Melendez?
Yes, ma'am.
State any objection to a 7-day offer?
I forgot.
Hold on, you need a Espanol?
I speak both languages.
Do you want a lawyer?
Not sure.
I'm going to have a hard time with this.
Your Honor, I believe that was potentially enhanceable. He does have at least one.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know if you would be satisfied with just getting it done with a 7-day offer.
Your Honor, state would object at this time.
Okay. All right, I can't connect with the interpreter. I'm going to appoint a lawyer on this case. I'll enter a plea of not guilty as to both counts, and I'll stay the bonds. Actually, I'll modify the bonds. On count 2, resisting, stay the bond at $500. On count 1, set it at $100.
Your Honor, is there a no return?
Yes, no return. Thank you. State any objection to a time served offer on the next case? It's a disorderly conduct at Kobe Restaurant.
Your Honor, that was the state's offer, was an adjudication, credit time served, and no return to Kobe.
Thank you. Counsel, I think private counsel, I think we're 2 cases away.
No problem, Your Honor, I'm here.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me what your name is? Ms. Mohammed, you're here for a charge of disorderly conduct at a public establishment. Case 21MM6327AO. The offer on your case is an adjudication, time served. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case? Okay, I'll appoint the public defender. Counsel?
Yes, I had a chance to speak with Ms. Mohammed as a friend of the court in the back and now appointed. May I have a moment to confer?
Sure.
I believe she wishes to enter a plea, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you're here, how do you plead to the crime of disorderly conduct at a public establishment? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Did your lawyer go over a plea form with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And go ahead and sign it if you agree to it. Ma'am, do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea to these charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, one will be appointed to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you have a criminal history of doing anything sexually violent or anything sexually motivated under the laws of this case, you would be civilly committed. Do you understand that too?
Yes, Your Honor. No, I do not.
All right. I'll go ahead and accept your plea in this case. You're being adjudicated guilty. I'm imposing a time to serve sentence. No return to the scene of the crime, Kobe Restaurant, nor are you to have any contact with the victims or witnesses.
Yes, ma'am.
You owe your court costs and your public defender's fee. That's due by June 15th of 2022. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. State, before we go to the next case, I've reviewed this. Any objection to is 2 plus 7? I think she has 11 days in it. Any objection to a time-served offer?
That was the offer conveyed, Your Honor, along with cost investigation to Apopka.
Okay, thank you. Are you Brittany Boyer? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Boyer, you have a public defender. If you would like to resolve your case today, the offer is a time-served offer. You would be released on this case today. You would be adjudicated guilty. Do you need a moment to speak with your lawyer?
No, ma'am.
We already
Counsel?
spoke in the back, Your Honor.
What are we doing?
I believe she wishes to enter a plea of no contest.
Ma'am, how do you plead to the charge of false name to law enforcement officer? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
Have you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ask your attorney any questions that you had?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign the plea form?
Not yet.
I'll give you a moment.
She signed the form, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, by pleading today, your probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll go ahead and proceed to sentencing. Again, how do you plead to the charge of providing a false name to law enforcement officer?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. You're adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served. I believe it's 10 days?
10 days.
10 days. You owe your court costs no later than June 15th of 2022. Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, there was also a cost investigation.
Oh, you owe cost of investigation. Put it on record, please.
To Apopka PD, jointly and severally with her co-defendant, in the amount of $365.38.
And that'll be, okay. Repeat yourself.
$365.38 to Apopka.
All right, based on that being so expensive, I'm going to give you more time. I'll give you until December 1st of 2022. All right, good luck to you.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes. I don't have one. Let's try this.
He may as be reset. The interpreters go at noon.
Your Honor, would you be opposed to a reset?
I'm going to put them at the end of the docket. I'll see if I can use Language Line or Google Translate. Because on this kind of offense, we've got to address it on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The next case is Mr. Alfred. He has counsel online.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nick Congelesi. I'm standing in for Attorney Christopher Cagle.
Thank you, Mr. Congliosi. Just hold on just a moment while I get him.
Sure.
In Public Defender's Office, your office represents Mr. Alfred on a battery DV case.
Mr. Cagle's office will be taking over both.
Let me see if I see an NOA on that.
They were just hired last night, so it might not be filed yet.
What's your name?
Ernest Alfred?
So you have a public defender currently for your crime of domestic violence. You agree to hire Mr. Cagle and Mr. Congliosi to represent you in that case?
Yes.
All right, I'll let them argue the motion then. Mr. Alfred, you're here for two different cases. You're here for driving under the influence. I do find that there's probable cause. And you're also out on bond on a charge of battery domestic violence. State, what is your position on this?
Your Honor, state would just ask for a reasonable bond on the DUI, and state's asking that you revoke his out on bond.
With a new bond or no bond? Or new conditions?
State would ask for no bond, but understanding that it's your discretion, and if you are inclined to set a bond, state would ask for at least double.
Mr. Congliosi, go ahead and put your arguments on the record.
Your Honor, as far as the battery domestic violence matter, the alleged victim in that case is Mr. Alfred's wife. The no contact order has been modified to no hostile contact. His wife has been in contact with our office, wishes to decline charges. She's already informed the state that she wishes to decline charges. We're in the process of having a declination of prosecution filed with the state. We believe that case is going to end up being no billed. We just ask that the court set a bond for his release on the battery domestic violence case, and let that do what it may. I believe it's going to be a no information eventually, and allow him to bond out to work on this new DUI charge.
Give me just a moment to check something on that.
Sure,
And again, I apologize for keeping you waiting. It's been a morning.
not a problem.
All right, and I find probable cause for the charge of driving under the influence. On the driving under the influence charge, I'm going to give you an enhanced bond of $1,000 plus pretrial release. And on the battery domestic violence in 21 MM, 5485, I'm going to revoke your release. I'll give you a new bond on that case. That bond is going to be $1,500 plus pretrial release. Your new conditions are going to be mirrored in both cases. You're to have no hostile contact with the victim of the domestic violence case. You're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or any alcohol. You'll be subject to random drug testing at your expense. That can be done after 14 days from today. Defense counsel, let me know if that needs to be modified because some drugs stay in their system longer.
Sure, pending the first tests,
Okay.
we'll let the court know.
And you're to abide by all other, you're not to commit any new law violation. State anything else on that?
No, Your Honor.
Again, no alcohol, no drugs, unless they're a prescription, and you're going to be paying for your own testing on that. If you test positive, we can revoke your release on both of these cases. Good luck to you, Mr. Alfred. Anything else, Mr. Congliosi?
That's all. Thank you for taking us so on short notice, Your Honor.
Not
Appreciate
a
it.
problem. Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care. You too.
Next case is Martin Elba.
You are the only participant.
Are you Martin Alva?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Alva, good morning. You're here for a charge of possession of fentanyl and unlawful use of a two-way communication device.
Your Honor.
Do you need an attorney to help you with your case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to appoint a public defender? Were you saying something, State?
Yes, it's a sale and delivery, Your Honor. I believe you said it was a possession.
I'm sorry, sale and delivery, if I wasn't clear on that. State, he doesn't have a long history and it's rather remote, but he is an out-of-state offender. Any objection to me modifying the bond to 10,000?
No, Your Honor, due to him having a very limited.
Defense,
Yes,
anything
sir.
else?
No argument, Your Honor.
On the sale and delivery, we'll modify and reduce that bond to $10,000, and I'll stay the bond on count 2, unlawful use of a communication device. Sir, you're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any paraphernalia. Do you have any questions about your release?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. Sir, give me a moment to find one of your cases. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about her out on bond cases. In case number 2020 CF 10541, defendant failed to appear for her court date. So the judge set bond at $1,000. Defense and state, do you want to be heard on the out on bonds for the methamphetamine and the cocaine, et cetera? You want me to no action it? Do you want me to revoke, terminate? What?
Yes, Your Honor, state would ask for no action at this time.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and take no action.
Waiver of appearance as well, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Go ahead and set it in the division. Oh, those are felonies, I'm sorry. The next case is Aubrey Cooper. Are you Mr. Cooper?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Cooper. You're here for a charge of aggravated battery in case 21 CF 12082AO. Mr. Cooper, do you need a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your charges?
Yes, ma'am. Public defender.
All right, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender on this case. And I find probable cause state. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand on the,
Like a boarding house?
on the first appearance information sheet, it does say he qualifies. He no longer qualifies.
I'm not going to give him PTR.
Okay. That was the state's only comment, Your Honor.
Anything else, defense?
Nothing here, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Cooper, I'm going to stay the bond at $3,500. I'm ordering that you have no contact with Lulu Santos, that you not possess any weapons. If you own any, they need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. And you need to maintain a separate residence. You can't go back to that boarding house. I'll allow a one-time return as long as you have a police officer accompanying you to collect your belongings. After that, you can't go back. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, bonded. All right, take it off docket. What about Stacy Emerson? Kate, I'm just curious, what's your office doing with the 2020 grand thefts that are under 300?
I'm actually the one in charge of that right now for the grand theft project. We are, if they've already been sentenced, we are resentencing. And if they are capious and under the amount after that case, then we are reaching out to the different agencies and different, whoever the victim is, and refiling as a petty theft if possible.
Okay, so do you know what you want to do on this case?
Your Honor, I would just ask that you stay the bond currently, given it's a warrant.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Stacy Marie Emerson.
Miss Emerson, you are here for a charge of grand theft third degree. This occurred in 2019, from Banana Republic. How much bond can you afford?
Maybe $100. I don't know. I don't really have any money on me, but I was going to see if I could find somebody who could help me bond out. But
Okay. Do you want a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
yes, please.
I'll appoint a public defender. State, I'm going to follow what is the current bond schedule. I'm going to set your bond at $500, no return to the Banana Republic store. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I was just curious. Thank you, State.
Understood, Your Honor.
Kenny ATN. I'm going to appoint a public defender in 2021 CF 12097 for the charge of grand theft. I'm going to, was he ROR in his last case?
It was PTR.
He was PTR? Okay, in 2021 CF 12097, I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Are you waiving his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then let's talk about 2021 CF 9576AO. I'm going to revoke his pretrial release and I'll set bonds in the following. On the possession of methamphetamine, $1,000. The cocaine, $150. Cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, $150. On the cannabis, $100, and the resisting officer without violence, $100.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
state would ask for the condition of no contact with the victim in the motor vehicle case.
I'll order no contact with the grand theft victim.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to stay that bond. Thank you. What's your name, sir?
Gaines Jr.
You said Mr. Gaines?
Yes, ma'am.
Come on up, Mr. Gaines. Sir, you're here on a charge of aggravated stalking after an injunction. You're also here on a charge of criminal mischief. I will give you a bond. Do you want a lawyer from the public defender's office?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender to assist you in this case. Probable cause having been found on the aggravated stalking, I'm going to set bond at $4,000. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene of the crime, no weapons, abide by all injunctions. And if you have any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release from jail. On the criminal mischief, I'll modify that bond to $150.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Keep in mind, all of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you. Defense counsel, I'll give you a moment to confer with Mr. Gaines.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gaines.
Thank you.
Are you Michael Friedman?
Say bond, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Sir, what's your name?
Mr. Gochio?
Mr. Gochio, you're here for a allegation of violation to report as a sex offender. You do have a bond in this case. The bond is $2,500. I'm also ordering that within 1 business day of your release from bonding out, you report as required. Anything else, State?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Do you need a lawyer to help you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender. We'll stay at the bond.
Gonzalez is in a hospital.
All right, in case number 21 CF 12103AO, I do find probable cause for sale and delivery of fentanyl, possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell, possession of cocaine, and unlawful use of a communications device. I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender, defense counsel. What do you want to be heard?
We'll waive the appearance today, Your Honor.
Okay, waive his appearance. He has a public defender. State on counts 2, 3, and 4, any objection, on counts 2 and 3, any objection to me modifying and reducing them?
No, Your Honor, State would just ask that you stay count 1, given the 2.84 grams is
I agree.
rather significant.
On count 1, I'll stay the bond. On count 2, set bond at $5,000. On count 3, I'll set bond at $5,000. On count 4, I'll stay the bond. I'm also ordering not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any paraphernalia. Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
I'm John Harrison.
Good morning, sir. You're here for a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm, as well as aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I do find probable cause. Do you need a public defender, a lawyer, to help you with your case?
First of all, Your Honor, yeah, then you said.
Okay, you want a lawyer?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, but
I'll
I'm
appoint a
innocent.
public defender. I'm going to warn you not to say anything else until you speak with your lawyer, because all of your statements can be are being recorded.
Yes, ma'am.
May I have a moment to confer, Your Honor?
These are reporting requirements. You just let them know, right? Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, I do find probable cause for these offenses. For the aggravated assault with a firearm, you are entitled to a bond. I'm setting bond at $7,500. On the aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, it's $150 for a total of $7,650. I'm ordering that you have no contact with the victims, or your roommate. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return so long as you're accompanied by a police officer to collect your belongings. And you're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. Sir, you also have a history that involves reporting requirement. Within 1 business day of your release, you need to let sex offender probation or reporting requirements and let them know that you were under arrest within 24 hours of bonding out or being released from jail. Thank you, sir. Sir, what's your name?
England Jackson.
Okay, so now I think I have you on the right case. You're here in case number 2021 CF 1209180. You're here for a charge of possession of methamphetamine. How long have you lived in Orlando, sir?
I've been in Orlando for I'll say about 4 months now.
Okay, your address that you gave is Tampa.
Right.
Do you have a home in Tampa?
Yes, that's my mother's house.
Okay, and you see your mother regularly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender. State any objection to pretrial release.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, I'm going to put you on pretrial release with the condition that you not possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any paraphernalia. Thank you. Your public defender will assist you. Are you Mr. Jernigan?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jernigan, you're here in case 21 CF 27160. You missed your court date for delivery of a controlled substance.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're now being held at no bond. I'll appoint a public defender to help you with your case. Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me what your name is? I'm sorry, what is it? Ma'am, you're here for a charge of possession of methamphetamines, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cannabis. Do you want a public defender for your new arrest? Okay, I'm going to appoint a public defender I find probable cause. I'm going to stay all the bonds in that case. Ma'am, you're also already out on bond from a case from last year, 2020 CF 973280. Again, that's a methamphetamine and paraphernalia charge. In that case, I'm going to revoke your release. State, do you want to be heard on release conditions or no bond?
Your Honor, state would just ask for no bond, given that she was out on a drug offense and picked up a new drug offense. Her criminal history is also
Yeah, I
pretty
know she's on
lengthy with
probation.
other drug offenses, and she's on probation, so state
What
would
says
ask that you
defense?
set it at 0.
As to all the charges, nonviolent offenses, I know that they are detrimental to her person, but not to others. I would just have you revoke and double.
And Your Honor, they only filed on the meth charge.
Oh, they only filed on the meth charge? That's strange.
On the out on bond case, yes.
I'm going to give her a new bond of $2,000 plus pretrial release. You're going to be subject to random testing at your expense. You're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or alcohol. Testing can begin anytime after October 8th of 2021. I don't know if you're going to go anywhere because Seminole County, you're on probation there, and they might, when they see this, they may issue a warrant for your arrest, so keep that in mind.
Your Honor, in regards to PTR, because she's on state probation.
What?
Because she's on state probation.
Oh, wait, I didn't.
Yeah, we can't do PTR.
Let's just do random testing through pretrial release. Thank you, I forgot about that. Random testing through pretrial release.
So is it, some question?
Sure.
So is my bond, like, I know that I'm on probation.
You have monetary bond in your Orange County court cases. You need to post that. You're also going to be subject to random drug testing. If you violate, they can revoke your release. But Seminole County, they're a different county. They have different judges.
My probation is in this county. They moved it to Orange County.
But the case started in Seminole County, so they'll revoke it there. You're being watched here and reporting here, but the Seminole County courts, they're the ones that do it. Does that answer your question, ma'am? Okay, good luck to you, ma'am. All right, I'll appoint a public defender in that case, stay the conditions of no bond.
We'll waive the appearance as well, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, come on forward. Thank you, Madam Corrections. Sir, what's your name?
Matthew Longs.
Mr. Longs, do you want a public defender to help you with your criminal case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender. I find probable cause for possession of heroin with intent to sell or deliver, possession of methamphetamines, possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of MDMA. I'm going to
I wasn't trying to sell no.
state he has a limited history. Any objection to me reducing the primary bond to $10,000?
Your Honor, given that he had 15 bags and it was approximately 2.2 grams, state would object. However, I understand it's within your discretion. And given that he had multiple different drugs on him.
Yeah, he has a bond for each of those. All right, overstate objection. I'm modifying count one bond to $10,000, staying the bonds on all remaining charges. And I'm ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any drug paraphernalia. And you'll be subject to random testing. I'm placing you on pretrial release for all of this, so you need to check in. Testing can begin anytime after October 8th. Thank you.
So bond and PTR with RUA?
Bond and PTR. Anything else, defense counsel?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Bond and PTR. Actually, anything else?
He was just asking about pretrial release. Could you explain what that condition is?
You have to phone in or stop in once, at least once a month, and you're going to be subject to random drug testing. If you test dirty, that's why I have you testing out 1 month away. So if you happen to get tested, you should be clean at that point if you were using.
I will.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, your name, please?
Yes, here's Lopez.
Ms. Lopez, you're here for a crime of aggravated assault and battery. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yeah.
I'll appoint a public defender to assist you with these charges. I'm going to stay the bond. Your total bond is $1,600. No return to the scene of the crime, no contact with the victim, and you're not to possess any weapons. All weapons, I'll just leave it at that.
That's it?
Sir, are you Wayne Malaire? What's your,
Refuse, Your Honor.
Wayne Malaire, violation of conditional release. He failed to contact his probation officer and contacted the victim. At this time, I'm going to appoint the public defender. He'll remain at no bond status. Are you waiving?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, what's your name?
Good morning, Your Honor. Omar Muhammad.
Good morning, Mr. Mohammed. You're here for a new law violation. 2021 CF 9518AO is the case number.
Yes.
You're here for a charge of carjacking with a firearm. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. State, based on the offense, do you want me to find proof evident, presumption great, hold him at known?
Yes, state is asking that you hold him at no bond, Your Honor, given that it is a life offense.
Okay,
Your Honor, he is entitled to an arbitration hearing before finding proof of presumption great.
all right. That can be done in the division.
Yes, Your Honor.
And state can file any motions that they need. And let's talk about his other case, 2020 CF 12826AO. Possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent, aggravated assault with a weapon, and carrying a concealed firearm. What do you want? What are we doing with that case?
Your Honor, state's requesting that you revoke and set at 0, given the new law offense also involving a firearm.
And what does defense say?
Your Honor, as he's already being held at no bond on the current charge, I would just have you take no action or revoke and double the out of bond status.
Yeah, but by pendency of him being a convicted delinquent and the new allegations, he's not supposed to have a firearm. So I agree with the state. I'm gonna revoke, hold it no bond. No contact with the victim or witness in the carjacking case, and possess no weapons. You'll be held at no bond in both cases. Thank you, sir. Stephen Acasio, are you Mr. Acasio?
Yes.
Mr. Acasio, you're here for a crime of possession of fentanyl and driving with a license suspended or revoked. Do you want a public defender to help you with these charges?
Yes.
I'm going to appoint a public defender to help you with the cases. On the fentanyl, I find probable cause, I'll stay the bond at $1,000. On the suspended license, I find probable cause, modify that bond to $100. In case number 2021 CF 2275AO, you're out on bond for dealing in stolen property and grand theft. Mr. Acasio, on that case, I'm going to revoke your bond and set you at no bond. And then you have another case that you're already out on bond for. That case number is 2021 CF 1036AO. That's for a charge of grand theft third degree. In that case, I'm revoking your bond and setting you at no bond as well. Thank you. The next case is Brian Pate. Mr. Pate, you're here because you failed to appear for your court date in case number 2020 CF 10003AO for possession of paraphernalia and controlled substance. You'll remain at no bond status. Thank you. I'll appoint a public defender, if we don't have one already, in 2020 CF 15324AO. He'll remain set at no bond. Defense, are you waiving? Defense on Patterson, are you waiving?
I'm from the office.
But they were going
Just
to
a
stop.
second.
Sir, what's your name?
Perez Munoz, Jonathan Perez Munoz.
Good morning, good afternoon, sir. You're here for several charges. I'll go ahead and go. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
All right.
Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
Lawyer, yes.
A lawyer, what?
A lawyer, you said?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender to assist you with your case.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I had a few questions about the charges. With the aggravated bat and the aggravated assault, do those merge as well as the robbery and the petty theft?
What do you mean?
I'm not sure if the petty theft is a lesser charge under robbery.
I mean, under the jury instructions, it can be deemed, but it's also its own offense too,
It
so.
can be charged separately.
It's a charging decision issue. When you said you had a question, are you questioning probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
Just as to the merger of the bat and assault, as well as the, I guess, for now, it's not a double jeopardy issue, but the petty theft and the robbery being charged at this, because all I saw was in the arrest affidavit was the necklace. Is there a separate petty theft that I didn't see, or is
Take a look at
robbery and petty theft the same action?
There's not an issue with double jeopardy at IA. It would be an issue for charging later on which counts the ASA chooses to file on. We can file every lesser included offense if there's PC for each additional offense, and bond can be set for each.
And that's why law enforcement does subsidiary bond. So if you look at the amounts on one, it's the highest amount, and then the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are lower amounts. 100 usually for misdemeanors and 150 for felonies. Hold on, let me take a look at this.
Yes, I wouldn't be opposed to just treating lesser charges as subsidiary charges, Your Honor.
All right, so I do find probable cause. State, stay the bonds?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Do you want me to stay the bonds?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and, how did we get this? I find probable cause. Sir, you're here for the charges of armed robbery with a weapon, aggravated battery with a weapon, aggravated assault, criminal mischief, battery, and petty theft. I'm going to stay the bond, meaning keep the amounts the same. You're to have no contact with the victim in this case. Your total bond is $10,600. You're not to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to the police department within 6 hours of your release. Thank you. Sir, I'm sorry for the wait. Can you tell me what your name is?
Robert L. Price.
Mr. Price, good morning. You're here for a charge of destruction of evidence and resisting officer without violence. I find that there's probable cause. On count 1, I'll stay the bond. On count 2, I'll reduce it to $100. Thank you. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. I'll have a PD help you. What?
All undersigned. Your Honor, I don't have any money. I'm homeless.
What?
I'm homeless.
21 CF 12073AO.
Your Honor, would you consider a bond reduction?
How long has he been living in Orlando?
2 years, I guess. That's kind of how I started. I was supposed to get an ID. I've been trying to do that. So I fly a sign to get an ID. Believe it or not, I was arrested for impersonating the police because my sign said homeless, need officers or police order, need ID, anything else.
All right, on count 1, I'll reduce it to a $500 bond, so his total bond is $600. No ROR, no PTR. Well, strike that language. My concern is that you have an out-of-state history and no ties, so you could be a flight risk. That's what my concern is. Thank you. 500 and 100, yes. Cynthia Rivera.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
No.
Public defender?
Yeah.
How many people do you support in your family?
5.
5?
5.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a beautician by trade.
And how much do you get paid?
Depends on the hairstyle, depends on the makeup.
Okay, so when you file your taxes, how much did you declare last year?
I think like 60.
What?
60.
16, 1-6?
60. 60.
Does she qualify with 5 dependents?
It's been a little harder now with the COVID. I don't have that much clients.
You make too much money to qualify for a public defender?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't make that anymore.
So how much do you make?
Right now, nothing because of COVID.
I can't guess.
Right now, I don't make anything because of COVID. I don't have interaction with clients anymore.
$0. So you make $0.
I make $0. I try to advertise as much as I can.
Okay, thank you. I'll find you qualify for, based on your testimony, making $0 will appoint a public defender. You were arrested for a charge of grand theft motor vehicle. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000.
Your Honor, stay would ask for the condition of no contact.
And no contact with the vehicle's owner. Thank you.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Are you Eric Shade?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Shade, you're here for case 21, CF 11984AO. I find probable cause for the charge of failure to report as a sex offender. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. Sir, your bond is stayed at $2,500. You also need to report to sex offender you also need to meet your reporting requirements within 1 business day of bonding out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
In case 21 CF 12075, I find probable cause for heroin, trespass, and drug paraphernalia. I'll appoint a public defender. Do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll waive his appearance. Thank you.
Your Honor, State would ask for no return due to the trespass.
No return. Are you Tammy Speakman?
Yes, ma'am.
21 CF 1209080. Ma'am, you were arrested for possession of heroin and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender. If you're released from jail, where would you live?
At my mother's.
Where does she live?
I have the address right here. It's, I think, she just moved, so it's 9405 Fifth Street or something like that. I'm not for sure. The lady down in pretrial release has the address. I didn't get it from her. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, if you're considering putting her on pretrial release, State would object due to three failures to appear. She has 4 prior VOPs. She's shown an inability to comply with court orders, which pretrial is arguably a court order.
What says Pete for you? Did they verify her or anything? She said something about the lady in pretrial release.
She gave us an address of 1108 11th Street.
That was the actual residence that I lived at that I'm moving out of. I'm moving into my mom's house because the person that lived there died, so I have to move out.
Is that in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am. It's in Taft.
So you don't live there anymore?
I'm moving all my stuff out of there. Like, I'm in the middle of moving.
All right. I'm not getting a lot of information that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll modify the bond to $100 apiece. Thank you. The next case is 21 CF 12108. Your name, please.
David Wachowski.
Sir, you're here for trafficking in methamphetamines, possession of methamphetamines with intent to sell or deliver, possession of methamphetamines, possession of fentanyl, and possession of controlled substance with intent to sell. I do find probable cause. Do you plan to hire your own attorney, represent yourself, or do you want a public defender?
I'm a defender.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender for the new charges. I'm going to stay all the bonds with the exception of number 3. I'll ROR him on that count. And then, sir, you're also already out on bond in case number 2021 CF 769580. That's for charges, and I see you have Mr. Zimczewski.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to revoke your release and hold you at no bond on counts 1 and 2. That's the possession of a firearm or ammunition and resisting officer without violence. They didn't charge the paraphernalia and grand theft. The next case is Lisa Carey Turner. Makia Tyree, what's your name, sir?
Micaiah Tyree.
What's your name?
Micaiah Tyree.
All right, you're here for a charge of possession of methamphetamines. I do find that there's probable cause. You just have one of these. How long have you lived in Orlando?
I just recently got here.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $500.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll appoint a public defender. Jeremy Waldron,
Yes, ma'am.
2020 CF 13198. Sir, you're here for a charge of grand theft of a motor vehicle. You missed your court date back on July 23rd, so you're now being held at no bond. Mr. Waldron, do you already have a lawyer?
I believe so, ma'am. I'm not for sure because I was released on this charge back when I first got arrested on
Yeah,
it.
but you have to come back to court, so.
I didn't know I had a court date, so I was going to see if I could please get a bond today, and I will be in court. I've never missed a court date since I've been in trouble.
Your Honor, he already has the PD appointed.
All right, thank you for your information, Mr. Waldron. Your attorney with the Public Defender's Office can set a bond hearing in front of Judge Barber.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, what's your name?
Huey Williams.
Mr. Williams, you're here for a charge of sale and delivery of cocaine. Do you need a public defender for case number 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
CF 29216?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. I do find that there's probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond on that case, which means keep it the same. But you're also already out on bond in case number 21 CF 881480. State it's a battery, aggravated battery from the end of July. You have not made a charging decision. Any input on the out on bond?
Your Honor, I'm just trying to determine if this warrant occurred before that out on bond.
It was alleged to have occurred on September 2nd, a couple days ago.
Your Honor, state would ask that you revoke, given that he was out on bond end of July and he picked up a new law offense while out on bond.
Your Honor, please, can I say something, Your Honor?
Okay, you have a lawyer. I'm going to have you confer with your lawyer before you say something, Mr. Williams.
It's also violent in nature, and he has three prior failures to appear, as well as other violent and drug history.
Your Honor, I would just have you revoke and set a different monetary amount. I believe Mr. Williams would like to speak to the court about that out on bond status, but not to the facts of the case.
No, the state hasn't made a charging decision, so all of your statements can be used against you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to call him and want him to say anything.
Yes, Your Honor, I would want to tell you, I know nothing about this warrant that they presented to me. Your Honor, I'm going through some very tough times right now. I'm asking, can you please double the bond or something? But please, Your Honor, don't revoke my bond. I have my kids out there. I mean, please.
Your Honor, state's only other argument is he has prior sale and delivery charges. He has a new sale and delivery charge. He's been arrested for sale and delivery at least twice. Several probation violations, failures to appear, several batteries. Significant violent and drug history. And apparently went to DOC for sale and delivery of cocaine, and he's back with a sale and delivery of cocaine.
Yeah, on the. You just got out.
Oh, ma'am.
I'm going to revoke your bond and no bond you on both counts. Thank you.
So I have no bond on no?
That's correct, sir. But on the sale and delivery, you do have a bond. Thank you. Winter is next. What's your name? Sir, what's your name?
Oh, Kwame Montreal Winter.
What is it?
Kwame Montreal Winter.
Mr. Winter, give me a moment to look at your cases. All right, sir, you're here for charges of grand theft motor vehicle, resisting officer without violence, and driving with license suspended. I find probable cause for all of them. Do you want a public defender to help you with all the cases that we're speaking about today? Public defender's a lawyer.
Just for the moment, yeah.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender. Having found probable cause, on the grand theft, I'm going to stay the bond, on the resisting, modify to 100, and on the driving with license suspended or revoked, modify to 100. However, sir, you're also on probation in case number 21MM992AO. It's alleged that while you were on probation for a crime of battery, that you committed an act of driving with license suspended, resisting officer without violence, grand theft. You didn't complete your anger management, and you didn't pay your cost of supervision. With all that said, you'll remain at no bond on your violation of probation. Thank you, Mr. Winter.
Your Honor, state would ask for no contact with the victim.
Sure, I'll do a no contact with the motor vehicle owner.
Thank you.
The person who drove, whose car that was, you're to have no contact with that person, if you know who he or she is. All right, thank you. No, it's already in the system. Here, have him taken into custody in that case. I can't, he's already, Judge Stewart already filed a no bond. All right, is that everything from the state and defense?
Your Honor, we have the one that we potentially wanted a Vietnamese.
Oh, yeah, hold on a second. Let me try you.
Mr. Nguyen.
Do we still use? What's his court date going to be if I enter plea of not guilty? Good morning. Do I have a Vietnamese interpreter, please?
Yes, this is Leung, ID 262014.
Dạ em nghe.
Sir, please tell me
yes,
what,
sir.
I'm going to have you translate. Please tell me what your name is.
Vậy anh cho biết tên họ của anh.
Em tên Đức Nguyễn ông anh.
Đức Nguyễn, spells D-U-C-N-G-U-Y-E-N.
You were arrested for trespassing at Starbucks.
Coi như anh bị bắt vì cái tội là vô Starbucks mà coi như là quá cái phạm vi giới hạn đó.
Quá bà xạo. Tụi nó quá bà xạo.
That wasn't right. It's not the truth.
All right, sir, I'm going to give you a lawyer.
Bây giờ tôi sẽ cho anh một người luật sư nha.
Yeah.
You must call his office within 5 days when you leave jail.
Sau khi mà được thả ra rồi á, thì anh phải gọi tới văn phòng luật sư đó trong vòng 5 ngày.
Ok, đây để em nói cho anh nè. Tất cả Orlando, chỗ nào em tới đó, they rage it, they keep me out for no reason.
I would like to let you know that in the whole Orlando, wherever I come, they are very racist. They kept me out.
Keep me out for no reason.
Okay, I'm going to ask that you speak Vietnamese.
Dạ, anh nói tiếng Việt đi anh ạ.
Tất cả chỗ nào em tới đó, không cần biết chỗ nào mà em tới đó là nó đuổi em đi, không cần biết lý do. Nó đang kỳ thị em đó.
Yeah, they were racist. Wherever I go, they wouldn't let me in and without any reason.
Okay, you can't go back to that Starbucks, sir.
Anh không có thể ở lại cái tiệm Starbucks đó nha.
Ok, không sao hết.
Yeah. It's okay, no problem.
Your next court date is on October 12th.
Cái phiên tòa tới á, là ngày 12 tháng 10 nha.
Đúng rồi, bây giờ em nói cho anh nghe nè. Cái vụ mà em đang ở đây nè, vô tù bữa nay nè, em nói cho anh nghe bằng tiếng Việt nè. Nó tới nó kêu em đi, em đang ngồi uống cà phê không nói một chữ, mặt tươi cười với tất cả mọi người. Một cái thằng police chứ cái con police á, nó tới nói chuyện với em nói chuyện sơ em beautiful word, beautiful. Rồi nó nói là mày không phải uống cà phê ở đây và mày không được ở vòng vòng ở đây. Nó nói, mày ông tướng cũng không dám nói câu tao nữa, tất cả ông tướng ở đây không ai dám nói câu đó, chứ mày là ai mà tới tao nói với tao câu đó.
Yeah, I would like to let you know what happened today. Like
No,
well,
go ahead. You can go ahead and repeat.
yeah, I was having a coffee at Starbucks. I was pleasant, didn't say anything. Then the police came. I talked to them like sir, ma'am, very respectfully. But I was told that I was not allowed to have coffee there or be near the premise. And I said, like, nobody around here say that, only just to me.
Okay. So, sir, I'm going to release you from jail, but you have to come back to court on October 12th.
Bây giờ hôm nay tôi thả anh ra không? Nhưng mà anh phải trở lại tòa ngày 12 tháng 10 nha.
Về rồi bữa nay ra ông anh, nó bẻ tay em. Bộ police đó, nó bẻ tay em la lên. Nguyên một đám nó chấn em. Em đã nói em là handicap, em nói em là người tàn tật. Nguyên một bầy nó bẻ tay, nó chấn tay em. Bây giờ cái tay em rồi cà si cà que luôn rồi. Rồi lần thứ hai. Rồi một lần thứ hai.
Okay, sir, we're going to stop talking after you translate. Please tell him his case is over today.
Yeah, today they used force on me, twisted my arms, and I yelled. I said like they are hurting me. I was a handicap, but they keep doing that. Anh coi như phiên tòa này là xong rồi đó.
Okay, I'm not done yet.
Your Honor.
I got a million time for play again. I'm not done yet.
Are you staying the bond or RORing him? State would
Hold on,
object.
with counsel, with the translator, I'm just trying to get him through this.
Okay.
Sir, I'm releasing you today. Go ahead and let him know.
Hôm nay là coi như tôi thả anh ra đó.
And State PD, Madam Trial Clerks, that's for the record, an ROR.
Bây giờ em nói với anh một lần cuối nữa nè, tất cả chỗ nào em tới nó cũng đều kiếm chuyện, nó đuổi em đi, bất cứ chỗ nào.
Yeah, I would like to state one last time, wherever I go, they kick me out.
Please do not go back to Starbucks. If you feel like they're being bad to you, try a different coffee shop. Thank you, sir.
Dạ, coi như là anh đừng có trở lại Starbucks nữa. Nếu anh thấy nó đối xử xấu như vậy, tìm chỗ khác đi ha. Thôi, cảm ơn anh.
Okay, no problem. I play another play.
All right. And thank you for using our service.
Thank you. Sorry, State, it's just hard with the translator. Mr. Zimjuski, you can go ahead and disconnect, Mr. Translator.
All right, yeah, thank you.
What was your client's name, Swakowski or something?
Yes.
He's already been done. I revoked his bond.
Judge, is there any way we could approach on that? I thought this was at 1 o'clock.
I can readdress it. Has he already been brought back down? Does he need to be brought back up?
I don't think he needs to be brought back up.